Hey guys, this is a general reading for Aries for February 2020. So that would be Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. If you have significant Aries in your chart, if you're just drawn to this reading, you could be cross-watching for another sign. But if this doesn't resonate with you or for more of a complete picture, look at my other videos I've either already made or will be making in the future that are kind of the same things, of other placements in your chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever you're drawn to, all of that. Energy is fluid, so this could have already happened. It could be happening now. It could happen in the future. I could read this as love. It could be career. I could read this as you. It could be someone else significant to you. So just apply it to your life as necessary. Don't make it fit if it doesn't, because some, none, or all of it may apply. So just take what fits and leave the rest. One or two more quick notes. Thank you so much for those of you who contribute to my channel with liking, sharing, subscribing. Hit the bell. I put out different types of videos, and I have more content that will be coming out soon and this year. So that will make it to where you don't really miss anything. So subscribe, hit the bell, preferably the one that's all. That way you don't miss anything. But also comment if you can. I love reading you guys' comments and connecting to your energy, even if I don't have time to reply to all of them. But it's a way to give back. So if you're grateful for the time and the energy I spend in these videos, if the videos helped you in some way and you don't have a way to contribute, such as services or donations, liking and commenting and subscribing, but liking and commenting is one of the best ways that you could donate back to me, because not only does it give thanks back and it shows your gratitude in the reciprocity of energy, but it also helps circulate the videos so that someone else who needs to hear the message may hear it. For those of you who have asked about donations, thank you so much. The information is in the description box below, along with my service information, email information, PayPal information. Please read the disclaimer also. Please read through all of that, especially about services or anything like that. But if you still have questions, feel free to email me. But thank you so much for those of you who have donated and for the give back and if the videos helped. Also the ones who have participated in the services. I love working with you guys. It means a lot to me. I love connecting with your guys' energies. So like I said, all the information is in the description box below. I will be adding my shamanic services on. Probably in the next couple of videos. Like I said, there's a couple of things I got to square away first before I post that information. So when that kind of gets squared away, hopefully within the next week or two, it will be put up. But if you're interested in the meantime, like I said, email me. Okay, shamanic illuminations, soul retrievals, destiny retrievals, power animal retrieval. Really, there's a multitude of things. So if you're wondering, just ask and I'll be honest, let you know whether I can do it. If not, I have a pretty large soul group that's always growing, and maybe I'll know somebody who can. Okay, so love you guys. Okay, so now getting started with your reading. I have to say, since I've been tapping into your guys' energy, please excuse if the camera is a little bit lower than normal, but I'm having to use a different tripod or whatever right now, so it sits a little bit lower. But anyways, your energy is very almost buzzing, optimistic-like. I get a lot of, I feel like this is similar to your guys' last reading, but kind of keeping things away that are not feeding you or helping you or where you're trying to go. But yet, I'm not sure if you know exactly where to go or what direction. So we're just going to see where this goes and where it guides you. I think you're still in kind of a stuck waiting energy, to be honest with you. You're still kind of buzzing and sitting. And I think that's where you guys were in your last reading. But it's almost like, and I think Tauruses went through this a lot too. It's almost like you guys, I don't want to say you're being held back because I don't know if you are or if it's just you. But it's almost like waiting for the go until something in your perception is seen or addressed. There's something that you aren't really seeing where you're putting your time and your energy and your thoughts mostly. That I think, or I hope you will soon. So let's just get started with your reading. In the center of your reading, you have the Hanged Man. So this Hanged Man really shows how uncomfortable of a position, like this fairy, this fae, is underwater. You know, it's almost like a type of situation that most would not be able to survive in. It's not their normal environment. So you might feel really out of your comfort zone. And in a way, you know, of something that you don't normally do, or a different type of environment. Really just outside of your comfort zone, right? And the Hangman is also about not only being in an uncomfortable position and making a sacrifice in order to hopefully see, because this is 12, so 13 is death, so ending the cycle, which it seems in your likely future, this might actually pay off. Because you do have a type of an ending of cycle or of seeing it. And what you're trying to see, whether you realize it or not, or what will end up coming about in this uncomfortable situation or environment or way of being or doing things, is this almost sacrifice you're making, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, is to gain you a different perspective. To hopefully see something as well, because what's crossing you is the Four of Pentacles. So this fae is really, I mean, he's just chained down to something that, where's the other? I mean, really, there isn't even 4 pentacles here. Like, this is one big pentacle. So there must be some big thing that you're holding in some way valuable. It might even be time. I mean, pentacles can be seen as time. I mean, the key is within his reach. Like, he can get down and get to the key. But you either don't see it or you're choosing to stay in this position. Let's see. 4 of Pentacles. You might, I mean, obviously this is also holding your energy to yourself right now. And you're really guarding yourself off. What I'm trying to figure out, that is coming to me to try to figure out, is whether or not this pentacle is something that you want to hold on to or not. Is it weighing you down, or is it voluntarily you're there staying in that place just to kind of like hold tight while you're figuring something out? Or like, is this really a newbie? Tell me about the 4 of Pentacles. It's more of a burden. It's something that at one time brought you a level of happiness and that you were really drawn and committed to. But now it just really brings you pain and it's a burden, like it's toxic. I'm not sure. I don't think you see it. Yeah, it's like a challenge and an obstacle. It might even be somebody who's like a foe or an enemy. But obviously, I mean, it's not serving you, so to whatever extreme. So it's going to be different for everybody, but so it could be the comfortable and the known. It could be either a job or a relationship, just something that you held very valuable. And like I said, I'm not going to keep going on it, I guess, because it is going to be different for everybody. But it's really almost that stuck in between thing that's like, maybe your perception is still switching to a point where you're more like ready to let it go, because it did mean so much to you and you do have so much invested in it that maybe your mind really has to get still to a point to see it. I don't want to say as more painful, but maybe like almost like the leverage has to go up. And that means whether the person comes in, a person or thing does come in and it is more painful, and then you're like, okay, no, I just don't want to hold this anymore. Or whether you're just waiting and then like the universe is like lining things up where your perception through the idea of almost pulling away, like the fasting idea, going into your own space. This is more the one I'm more feeling. Going into your own space, being in your own thoughts, receiving your own, downloads and guidance. It's helping shift your perception about something that you feel very connected to or tied to, or it could be an energetic cord too. But chances are, because of all the perception here that's going on, there's probably a good chance that you're actually the one keeping this connection or this cord going. Even if it's not physically together in this realm, it's actually you that is energetically holding on. It may be them too, but I mostly get you. Because this is mostly your perception that's going on here. So you're working on moving on though. And that's kind of why it's probably really annoying, because you're really trying to push through and go forward. But yet the energy that's influencing you or affecting you is this. That's probably why it's, and for any Aries, that's going to be really annoying. For most people, but especially in Aries. In your foundation, which I feel is like what all this is about. It's also your subconscious, but it's really like the foundation of this reading. You have the Ten of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles. A breaking of this thought pattern right here. So the Ten of Swords anyways is, the end of that cycle, I guess, not being hurt or stabbed in the back. But I'm really getting with this, like, it might even have something to do with, like, I don't mean to keep flipping you guys off, but with a type of fear or security, because there's a lot of red in this card. So there might be some type of thing or thought process you're having to really look at that might be based around like fear, maybe even anger, resentment. Either way, I get a lot of root chakra, but security issues. And breaking some type of thought pattern that's been going on. Because I know I've been picking that up a lot, honestly, for a lot of months for Aries, is that there's a looping pattern that seems to keep happening, and you guys get off of it and then it throws you back on it. And then you get off of it and then you do stuff that throws you back on it. And it's needing to be at the end of this, with the Queen of Pentacles, like finding your own balance. Like here's the moon and the sun, but finding your worth, finding that groundedness, that maybe helps get you off of this pattern, because like I said, it's been a reoccurring thing that I've been picking up on. And there's something you're needing to see. In the past, you have the Chariot. So the Chariot comes after the Lovers. And the Lovers really is about a decision, you know, between, I mean, yes, it's about integration and it could be about working with your higher self and all that, but it's really about a decision between the physical and spiritual. Needing to have strength between the two. If you look in a typical Lover's card, you know, there's, it kind of shows on here too, like you do have the Lovers, like he is very much an earthly type of element, and she's very much a spirit type of element, and it's almost a mixing between the two. So you would see in a normal Rider-Waite one where the guy is looking at the girl, but the girl, the woman, is looking up at the angel, at spirit. So it's not only between your own polarities and integration and earthly and spirit and masculine and feminine and all those types of dynamics, but between earthly and spiritual, and aligning those, becoming more in alignment, right? And that's what leads to the Chariot, which is in your past. So somewhere along the way, and this might be talking to what I've been saying about the cycle, you aligned enough to start to move forward or try to move forward. But it seems now in your thoughts, you might be starting to loop back. I'm not sure, in some way or another. Even if you're like, no, I don't want that person or thing or job or situation, something emotionally is starting to happen again that might be pulling you back. And the only reason I say that is, like, yes, this is the 8 of Cups, so it's like, oh, I'm walking away emotionally. But she's looking back. And then your card in your likely future is also looking back. And there's 1 cup too, instead of 8. So it's almost like the thoughts might be starting to creep in or being triggered again of, that was the one. Will anything be like that? Will I ever feel like I did when that was good? Will I ever feel that fulfilled? Will I ever feel that happy? Will I ever feel that loved? Will I ever feel that good? Even if this is like a negative, like you're not, like, it's not your conscious thoughts, but even if it's like it, which this is in your conscious thoughts position though. So I mean, really, you would think these would be reversed, where the one that's in your foundation, which a lot of times I take as the subconscious, would more be in your conscious, but they're more in your subconscious, which means something in you might be guiding you and helping you out to this. But either way, it doesn't matter that much. Something in part of your thinking is starting to have its doubts again, or falter, or be conflicted, basically. In your likely future, you have Temperance. So hopefully a level of healing. But if she, in the way this is laid down, is looking back at all this I just said, there's a looking back. You know, you also do have the type of 3 of Wands vibe there going on too. So I don't know if she's waiting for something from her past. I don't know if she's waiting for a level of healing and feels like she's just waiting and has done all she can. It's almost like you guys are like, I've done everything I can. I'm kind of a sitting duck right now. I'm waiting to move forward, right? But in the process, while you're waiting to move forward, waiting for your new beginning to come in, or waiting for your ships to come in, or just waiting for all that to come in, you're spending your time more thinking about and looking at the past again, or looking at those other parts of you, instead of maybe, and I don't mean in a shadow work way, it's almost like in a waiting way. Like if you look, like she's looking back, there's the Three of Wands, like a waiting vibe. It's almost like while you're sitting here waiting, you're really uncomfortable. So your mind takes you back to a time when it was comfortable, which now finds you ruminating again about that time that once was comfortable, but is now no longer serving you. But yet you're thinking in a favorable way about it, because it brings you a level of peace in this moment while you're uncomfortable. But yet it's reinforcing that pattern and the happy thoughts and the how that pattern can still supply you, which now is going to keep feeding that conflicting behavior and mental pattern. Because it's like, you know, it's not good for you. You're waiting on healing it to move forward with your 10 of Cups. But it's not here right now. You're waiting. You feel like there's nothing else you can do. But then your mind wanders because it's uncomfortable to, it's almost like a heroin addict trying to stop doing heroin. And then like all day they just sit there and like dream about heroin, you know, to like make themselves feel more comfortable while they're waiting to get over their heroin addiction, which is not going to work, because you're feeding the thoughts of how heroin is benefiting you and how it's good. It's almost like while you're like, okay, I'm waiting to get out of this, but then you're like thinking, and you're like fueling all those like neuro pathways of heroin good, heroin good, heroin good. You know what I mean? Or like your situation good, your situation good. I don't know. That's just really what's coming up for me for you guys on this, on like what you may be doing or what you may be heading towards. So while you're sitting here in this moment, this is really a time to really practice your discipline. I mean, I do have the Sun card, which goes with, I think it did come up later with the Strength, but it'd really be nice to have the Strength card here to really show that energy of discipline, you know, of keeping your mind on healthy things and on learning new concepts and concepts to help retrain your mind and your brain. Because yes, this is energetic, but this is very much also, you're going to have to work on retraining your brain, and you're going to have to power through and have discipline. And over time, as you replace these thoughts and remind yourself in black and white what's going on, and have compassion for why your brain is doing this, eventually these thoughts will become less and less. But you're not going to be able to release this energy as easily if your body still sees it as a source of supply. It needs to find something that's either more happy and better to replace you feeling good with, and now your brain will start to go towards that, because it's like, oh good, we're feeling good from this. So then it's going to start to make you think more of this or of that, whatever you're now newly focusing on. Or you have to not avoid the pain and sit in those emotions and process through them. So then also your mind has that moment to realize like that situation isn't pleasant for you. You know, don't try to avoid the uncomfortability of it. Sit in the uncomfortability. That way you could process those emotions, learn how to do it, and then also recalibrate how your brain thinks about this person, situation, or whatever, that, oh, it is no longer good for me, because now it's sitting in the present moment of this makes me feel uncomfortable. This makes me feel bad. This is not good. Unless you have a habit of self-sabotaging and that is painful, which is very much a possibility. And even then, you're still going to have to really work with your mind on that and really say, like, I don't want this anymore. Pain no longer serves me. I am deserving of good and loving things. And you start to really just keep working on your brain. Every time those thoughts come up, you're just like, no, much love, but that's not what I want anymore. That is no longer serving me. When you're younger and you have more energy, when you have those type of self-sabotaging thoughts, pain can somewhat be pleasurable. And don't get me wrong, like sometimes there's still examples of how pain can be pleasurable, but really as you get older and your energy gets less, unless it's in a controlled, conscious way of two people being on the same page about it, pain is no longer comfortable. It's no longer pleasurable. It like just drains you at that point. So you're going to have to start to retrain your brain about that anyways. Usually it's more pleasurable when you're in your younger, less awakened state, and you also have more energy that can keep you going. As you get older, you don't have as much energy. So you have to be very selective about your energy, how you utilize it, and who you have around it. Okay. How you see yourself is you have the Six of Swords and you have the Wheel. So here's you, like, I'm mentally moving on. I'm changing things around. I'm working on getting off this pattern, this cycle. You're like, I'm doing it. I'm working on it. And I think you are. But something in you, something in your thought process and your conscious thoughts is starting to pop up. Subconscious, conscious, whatever you want to say about it. Something's starting to pop up. So just use this as be cognizant of it. Be aware of it. And it's okay. It's not bad. It's not like, oh, I'm backtracking. Just be aware of it is what it's asking you. And also be aware of where your thoughts are while you're sitting here waiting and healing to move forward. Temperance is also about balance, tempering. So it is very much also a discipline card. You are tempering where you are putting your energy. You are tempering where you are putting your thoughts. You are not overindulgently thinking or doing in one way. And it's really reminding you, hopefully in the likely future, to please try to place your energy and your thoughts, even if you still feel like a sitting duck, on things that are aimed energetically or logically or learning wise towards where you want to be going. Like, what thought processes do you want to have? What type of people do you want around you? Who are you learning from? Where do you spend the majority of your time, energy, and mental processing? If it's on things that are not great for you or not benefiting or feeding you or negative or not where you're trying to go, and that might mean you don't even watch TV for a little while, or you don't listen to the normal songs you want to listen to for a little while. If they trigger you and they start to trigger that nostalgic component within you that short term makes you feel good while you're waiting for your life to move forward, then you're going to stay stuck or you're going to prolong your process. So just something to think about, okay? Think about that. Because I do think you're I like your energy. And I think you're like, right, like I feel like I keep having this reading with you guys where I'm like, you're like right there, so try not to go back to that again to emotionally make you feel better and hold you over while you're uncomfortable, because no Aries likes to just sit and be a sitting duck. They're like, go, go, go. And this is really teaching you, go within, learn patience, ground yourself. But while you're learning that, please don't let your thoughts and your energy go back to patterns that once served you, now they're not. But you're doing it to get you out of the uncomfortability of sitting still. And then now look what you're doing. You're reinforcing the same thoughts and energy patterns you're trying to get rid of. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm going to leave it alone because I feel like you do. If not, email me and hit me up and I'll help you out with it. but I don't want to just keep saying the same things over and over again. So good job on what you're trying to do. Just be careful of that last little thing, because you might spin yourself back on that hamster wheel. What's in your environment? You have the Knight of Wands and you have the Seven of Cups. So on one hand, yes, this is you. I think you guys are really wanting to go and fly. And you're kind of confused, and there's a lot of options on what way to go with it, and you're not really quite sure. I also feel this is someone or something around you as well, with this Knight of Wands energy and the Seven of Cups energy, with a level of confusion and options and I think you obviously want to fly and be free, but you're kind of stuck and confused. Which is where you're kind of energetically matching this other person or situation. Like why you guys energetically aligned in the first place before, for some reason that is now not serving you, but why it did. Because they energetically also want to be a free person, even if it means like, I don't want to just be with one person, or I have commitment issues, or whatever. They're a free, but yet not grounded, and I don't want to say confused. It is confused, but I don't want to say that in a judgmental way, like you must be confused if you want to date multiple people, because that's not so. Like that just might be their journey and where they're on. But there's just a lot of options, because if you look at this Seven of Cups, right, there's one cup. And this is really in this deck, and a lot of the ones there should be multiple cups. There's only one cup. But this person, it's almost like if they just had one cup, like one person to deal with. It's almost like this is the person around you. It's also you. It's energetically mirroring in different ways, but I'm just going to go this way for conversational sake. It's almost like this cup would be you, or one person, whatever. And if it was one person, one thing that they had to put their energy into, it would almost be intimidating to them. Which is why it's just too much, at least with where they are. They're right now energetically sitting at the Knight of Wands. Like, they want to fly. They want to be free. They don't want to be held down. They don't, or disciplined, or being held accountable. And I'm not speaking bad of them and saying that. It's just where their energy is. It's also, you know, like teenagers or young adults. Like, they don't want that much either. And knights are younger, you know? But this is why. Like, if they had this one substantial love, emotion, whatever you want to put it as, it would be, they view it as, it would be too much for them. Whether it's responsibility wise, how much they'd have to give back, you know, discipline, like emotionally, especially, it's more emotion than they want to deal with. So this is this person around you. Just so you know too, person or situation, if you were dealing with a person like that, it's not just them. When somebody has commitment issues and you're drawn to some people who have commitment issues, it means you also have commitment issues. Like, yes, you have to change the way what love looks like and feeling like you have to chase to get it. But it means that person... My phone did something weird. It means that person is emotionally unavailable, which means that you also then are emotionally unavailable. Because if you were emotionally available and in tune, you would recognize they weren't very quickly. Just letting you know. How they see you, your environment sees you. So this could just be straight up an energy in your environment. So if it's not a person or a situation or a job or whatever that just might be what's around you is helping you with confusion and learning to fly again, okay? But applied as necessary. How the environment sees you is the Ace of Pentacles. So again, here you are sitting on like one pentacle, but you're holding on to it. This could be your new one. I don't really get that. I think this is the one you're trying to let go of. And they see you as trying to create your new one. But maybe even within or on yourself or within your control. But either way, they see you as, I'll pull a couple extra to see. You know, working and starting on some new beginning or creation. Learning, that you're starting to gain strength and get stronger. That you're more going after like what you want. You may not be talking a lot about this. Like you may be being secretive or keeping, you know, because I feel your energy of being held back and keeping things and people away from you that are not serving you. So you're probably being a little bit secretive about it, but also learning at the same time. Learning, trying new things, creating. What's in your hopes? You have the Lovers. So I really get this as just like, you know, love or like feeling good, energetically aligning with something. Yeah, abundance. Like you want that just really giving, loving, abundant, like feeling like you're connected to something again. Because you're in the process also of rechanging your mind and learning to connect with yourself also. So yourself or spirit, but you really want like, whether it's either a new person to connect with, just somebody to have a significant connection with, to share the abundance of love that you want to feel. Hopefully you're coming from an abundance of love and not a codependent way of trying to align with other people to get love or feel good. But either way, you want to connect with somebody. Or it could be still maybe a significant person or situation. I could be wrong, but I don't really get a particular, you know, it's going to be different for everybody, but a particular person necessarily. I think you're kind of more at a point where you're like, I just want my person, which just so you know, we have multiple people because sometimes we have multiple lessons to learn in a lifetime, and sometimes only certain people can teach certain lessons, right? So, but either way, I get the idea and the concept of it. Like, you're like, I just want my person to connect to. Like, if you want friends, like, you're like, I want my lobster. And you want that abundant feeling. It feels good. It doesn't feel like lack or bad. Yeah, like you want to feel good and not bad. It's like two different roads, like if you see the way they came up. So here's grief and adversity and living room. This is very much about comfort and what feels good to you. And then this is below it, and this is like the journey, and it's two paths, right? And it's below it. It came out like this. So it's literally also with the Lovers is about a decision, grounding, you know, earthly 3D realm type stuff versus spiritual alignment stuff. So it's also about a decision within yourself too. Maybe you're hoping to be able to work out this disconnect or this whatever's making you have a hard time with this alignment. between what is bringing you pain and what is comfortable to you, and the two paths, like having a choice between the two. There's definitely that whole confliction and disconnect that's going on within you. And a lot of things are leading to this, where the pattern is starting to loop again, because in your past you had the Chariot. The Chariot is one step past the Lovers, yet here you are in your hopes with the Lovers. So it's really about changing the way you connect with yourself and feeling that you can bring yourself satisfaction, but also how you think about and connect to love. What does that look like? Because while you're in this shift, right, because you're being held off, your perception is being switched with this Hangman, you're being held off in the meantime while that's happening. You're being taught, like, to really look at your perception and see, like, what do I want? You're really going to have to look at this. Like, this is all about the Lovers. Like, what do I want? The difference between your higher self and your lower self, your awakened self and your unawakened self. Your unawakened self went off family patterns, karmic patterns, like chasing love or not being good enough, or love is pain. Love is the chase. Love is the high of when I get it for a minute, I am good enough. And then, it was taken away and now it's exciting, because sometimes people see it as like no action or no pain is boring. And it's really you getting to a point of realizing whether or not that still serves you. Whether or not you can create your own amusement and your own fulfillment, and does love still look like that? And there's also a period in between where even when you consciously realize, I don't want love to look like that, there's still that period where your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are not on the same page. And this really is where discipline comes in, like the Strength card, between the old and the new as you're shifting thought patterns. And you, in those moments of keeping in mind where your focus is and what your goal is, and knowing when these thoughts come up that are your old thought patterns, you having either ways or come up with action plans that automatically counteract when that happens, and it holds you accountable. It could even be something like, and I'm not saying this to whatever, because I actually am doing this myself, so is why I'm saying it. It could be even as working with me as like a coach or a guide to help hold you accountable, or to help you with your thought patterns as it's trying to switch over. So it's just really good about having those moments when that happens, about having something concrete that can bring you back to your conscious thought, to your new way of wanting to go, because your mind, just out of its new old patterns and its way of protecting you, it's going to try to keep pulling you back. And you have to mentally rise above it and see and know what it's doing, have compassion, but replace it with new thoughts. Be able to sit in that uncomfortability. Wait it out. It's like smoking. Like, sometimes when you quit smoking, at first you're going to want it. And then sometimes you'll still get the thought, but 30 seconds later it's gone, and then eventually they just get less and less. It's sort of just like that. So if you want love to look different, like, you're going to have to choose the actions that align with that. And even if you're consciously doing that negative thought pattern, the old thought patterns are going to keep coming up. And in between those two parts, you mindfully have to be there with enough discipline, responsibility. If you have to, write down on a paper. What are my goals? What actions align me to it? And then every day, am I doing this? Nope. All right, go to the things that do. Start doing the actions that do. Have compassion and patience, but eventually, as those thoughts come up of the old that are trying to pull you back, as you keep replacing them with new positive thoughts and then with action along with it, they will start to replace that and build new neural pathways, which eventually the old will become less and less, and it will start to fade out. And what you're trying to go towards will be more what you're going to be aligned with mentally and taking action on, because you're now developing this, and those kind of become a thing of the old. Now, don't get me wrong. Once they kind of go away, it really doesn't mean they're like gone, because sometimes, and this could be forever or even a period of time. Sometimes even when we make changes in our life and we're successfully doing it, but then something stressful happens or knocks us, like rattles us or knocks us off our game, our minds can tend to revert back to old ways, like subconscious, old ingrained ways. So if that's what's happening for you right now, also, please know that's okay and it's normal, but you have to consciously rise above and see what's happening and consciously make those choices and be willing to sacrifice. Be willing to sacrifice that instant gratification. Be willing to sacrifice that feeling of everything wants to go this way. Sit in the uncomfortability of it, or go do the action that you actually are consciously wanting to do, even if it doesn't seem fulfilling in that moment. Do it anyways. Or find something that's fun enough to do it, but something that's good for you. But by powering through and having discipline and going and doing something you don't really want to do, or your mind's not like thinking of that, as it starts to work out for you and you didn't cave, you didn't give in, you do become stronger, or you do gain some of the achievement that you got from doing the action you didn't originally want to do. It wasn't really like, you know, itching that scratch type thing, and you get something back from doing it, it's going to positively reward you. Okay? I'm going to go off of this. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but if you feel like you need help on this or the thought pattern of it, just let me know. I hope this makes sense to you, because I feel like this is a lot of stuff that's kind of coming up that's might be holding you here. I do feel like, even though a lot of the concepts are similar to the readings I've done in the past, I do feel like you guys have made way and moved forward. There's a little bit more conviction to it. It's almost like seeing some of the last little things that are throwing you guys back to it, or how to navigate your thought process while you're retraining your mind, basically, and transitioning. Okay. What's in your fears is you have the Two of Wands. It's, like I said, about the decision, choosing to jump. It's almost like Phoenix energy, like just going for it. You know, she's waiting to make the decision to fly. And she's a little timid. She's a little scared. And this is also, if you look at the two of these, between your hopes and fears, right? Your hopes is still going back to this emotional or spiritual connection, but your fears are about your own independence and your own abilities and worthiness. This is still very much a codependent thing that's sitting here. As romantic as it may seem on a surface level, it's, your hopes are still in some of your old patterns that aren't that great for you, and your fears where you should be going and taking action on yourself and your own independence and your strength and your sovereignty, and your growing and your flying and jumping into this new world is what you're fearing. So this is really in itself a confirmation of everything I'm saying about your thought pattern here, about what's going on. So just be mindful of that, okay? Like, please make sure that you're taking action in the things that are serving you, even if it's not exactly what you want to be doing right now. Even if that little inner child part of you is like, no, I don't want this. I want what I want. It's like, well, it's okay. It's not what we're doing right now. It's not what's best for us. So not only action-wise powering through, but replacing it with like positive thoughts, learning positive things. You know, don't watch a bunch of tarot readers that are talking about what another person is doing, or that they still love you or what they would say to you if they could. Much love. Everybody's on their own different parts of their journey, but I think it's really unhealthy. I don't get me wrong, I've been attracted sometimes to being like, oh, that'd be cool to get those types of decks, but I might sometimes look into what a person's doing to see how they see about you to compare it for perception wise. But I think it does nobody any good to tell anybody what somebody would say to you if they could, because they're not saying it. And not only that, but actions speak louder than words. So it creates an illusion, a fantasy that is really unhealthy for people. So please, if any of you are doing that, please stop. Do not watch videos about what they're doing, what type of karma they're going to receive, what they'll say to you if they could, how they feel. I mean, like I said, you could tap into that a little bit to help your perspective to go out. Or to see if maybe somebody really is going through their own spiritual journey. But for the most part, that type of stuff is not healthy. And even if they are going through a journey, so are you, and you need to focus on yours. So if you watch readers and you're having, this is looping. I wouldn't say this for everybody. I mean, kind of, but especially not you guys. You guys are looping here. So they're not going to be good for you to watch what somebody else is doing. How do they feel about me? Do they miss me? Do they regret it? Are they going to get their karma? You know what I mean? Who cares? It's looping you back. Focus on videos that help you retrain your mind on thinking. Jordan Peterson is an amazing person to watch for that, in my opinion. I like his way of thinking. I like his perception. It really aligns with mine and where I'm trying to go on it. It's a nice balance between light and dark, realistic, and, a level of imagination people should be able to have and all of that. He's a straight shooter when he talks. So he's great, I mean, you also don't want to get stuck just watching that all day long. You also want to balance it with creation and play and everything. But either way, make sure if you are watching tarot readings, there are ones where they're talking about soul journeys or spiritual evolution, personal development, motivation, creation, how to switch your perception. So even if you are watching readings, which I do want to try to have time where I am comparing, do some bonus love readings and stuff where it's showing the difference between the two to help pop you out if you are stuck in an illusion, or to confirm whether you're right on it. But I forgot what I was saying. Make sure that they're doing it in a way that is educating you and empowering you and not making you feel like you're a sitting duck waiting on someone else and that your life is all dependent on them and that you're powerless. Don't listen to people who feed this powerlessness that's going on here. Choose to follow and listen and educate yourself with people, books, matter, or whatever that reminds you who you are, teaches you to connect within, and empowers you. Okay? That's all I'm saying. But start focusing on yourself. Take the jump. This fear it's just a fear. Even if you fall, you get back up and you learn. Like you did with this person. This other thing hasn't worked out, but yet you still keep going after it, right? And I'm sure you've fallen on your face many times. You might as well do it with this too. But this is something that is more likely to serve you and make you feel better because it's your own efforts with yourself. You're not trying to make anybody or anything else responsible for your own emotional satisfaction or empowerment or development in life. When you do that, you set yourself up for failure. Which is why this is now scary to you, because you've learned past parts of your life where it didn't work out and you fell on your face and you're like, oh God, at least I could blame that on somebody else. Subconsciously, you're like, at least I could blame that on somebody else. Now this is fully in your control, and if you fall, it's on you. Who cares? At least you have more control over it because it's only you have to deal with and not somebody you have absolutely no control over. All right? So in your likely outcome, you have the Knave of Swords, which is like the Page of Swords. You have the Seer, which is the High Priestess. And you have the World. So I really look at this as you really kind of realizing something and having that thought. Let me try to hold them together. Maybe seeing them together will help you. Like, he has some idea. He might even be manipulating this idea. Manipulation is not always a bad thing. We all do it. It's just whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, and are you using it to, you know, hopefully you're using it to benefit you and not hurt others. You get what I'm saying? But some idea, maybe even communication. There might even be some type of idea or secret that comes out through this time of waiting that really helps you, like, end this cycle. Like, you really just integrate it and get it. So someone may be coming. I'm going to pull on this a little more to see. But this could also be just an idea and download on your part, and then some level of higher wisdom through your higher self or whatever was shown to you. And that either way, it looks like something helps you end this cycle. Tell me about this energy. Yeah, like, I think you start to either get tired of being in a prison. Like, this is very much also a Gemini energy. Geminis don't like to be bound energetically or stuck. And, you know, here you are. I think you're starting to realize, like, how stuck you were. And maybe you just don't like that, or something happens with somebody. And you realize how you just want things to be in a different way. And what could actually be available to you. Like, it's almost like all this time what you've been going after, like, this is what you've been going after, and somehow you get some type of idea, download, epiphany, or whatever, realization, whether it's on your own or through someone being like doing stuff, and then you're like, oh God, I don't want that. But you realizing that it doesn't have to be like this. It can actually be like this. Like, your perception literally changes, whether it's work, love, the world, people, relationships, whatever. And this is like about changes, like new beginnings, which technically would be like here, lineup wise. You realize something on that, and you start to even create, like, see, and then the baby. You start to create outside of what you've already been creating. Which means you got the lesson and you integrated it. And I think a lot of what I said is what's going to help you do that. We are going to go into your guidance oracle cards, which I think is going to align actually with a lot of what I just said and channeled. But on the energy on the bottom of your deck, before we move forward, you have the sun. And he's really just like seeing, like taking it all in. I think you see something that Seven of Swords, like you didn't see before, that you had been creating and working on with the Eight of Pentacles, that Ten of Wands really just left you with a burden and feeling insecure and just not really getting what you want. Maybe even Nine of Cups, like overindulgent. Then you have to like defend yourself. And it blocks you off, like it blocked you off from your true path and really seeing. And then there you are, like you, judgment, like. I think there's something you see. I don't know exactly how. It's going to be different for everybody. Or you're on your way to doing that, right? There is almost this shift in energy where you have like born innocent. I get a lot of exactly like this, like the sun at the end of the deck. So normally the sun, you know, is like a baby on a horse. And it's the sun a lot of times is really seen as that period in time where, you know, when you're a kid, you're naive. And then you realize the harsh realities of the world. And then you become kind of jaded or wounded. And then hopefully what usually happens is you have some type of perspective shift and healing. And you know, you realize your part and your perception in that, and you heal from it, and now you end up having the heart and spirit of a child again, but with more of the wisdom of like the hermit or an experienced person. So you're able to integrate all of them and still have that heart and soul of a child and the enthusiasm and curiosity of a child, but you're not so naive. You're carrying the wisdom along with that. And that's really the energy that I get from it in the born innocent thing. I think you start to realize a lot of that stuff and let things go and have boundaries. And this is going to take courage, being conscious about, says conscious aware eating, like what are you eating? What are you around? What are you spending energy to and around? What are you allowing to influence you while you're healing? And then you have a knock at the door, whole again. So, you know, I'm not going to say another awakening because a lot of you guys, I think, are in the middle of awakening. It's just like the little mini phases through an awakening that's always going to happen. It's hard to explain. It's like once it starts, it really never stops. It's more jolting in the beginning, but then once you work through a lot of the blocks and the resistances and you just learn to flow with it and get excited and you start to heal, they just kind of are scary sometimes, but not really. Like you just get more curious and excited and it becomes more beautiful. You have friendship, you have courage under that. You are safe, fear is an illusion, set strong boundaries. So this kind of is going with what I was saying of seek out your soul family, surround yourself with positive people, spend more time socializing. So watch what you're focusing on, watch who you're around, watch what you're giving your time to and your thoughts to and your energy to. And then you have adventure, dare to do things differently, like I've been saying, manifest your travel dreams, move to a new location. And then flow, find an easier path forward, surrender the outcome, release your expectations. And then you have passion underneath that, doing what excites you. Healer, get fired up about your life. You have a time for spirit. So this is really about connecting within, dedicating yourself to your higher self, going within, spirit, all of that. And doing that will help you learn to be, like you have grumpy red fairy, but be your true self. You have a lot of hermit energy here, but the spirit will be guiding you during this time. They already are. So not only going within to find yourself, but above. Ancestors, meditation, being in just this type of situation for a moment where you could go in, like, whether it's circles, ceremonies, rituals, meditation, Reiki, just being around like-minded people, but like-minded in the way of where you're drawn to and where you're wanting to go. Not like-minded in the way of they are who you're trying to not be or trying to release that part of yourself. You know what I mean? You either want to limit or like let go of that. And this will help you be your true self. To whoever you're wanting to be. I mean, they're all you, but who do you want to be? What do you want it to be like? And then you have the past returns for a time. What comes around, back off. The signs are with you already. It's time for a treat. Calm amid chaos. Time for a change. Learn something new. To use technology and gadgets with wisdom. A tempting offer has a high price. Personal growth. Love is strange. Transitions to the spirit realm. Count your blessings. So, like I said, this isn't going to be for everybody. But some of you, when I said like the likely outcome, when I was like, some might come back, like even the world could be seen as like coming back around. For some of you, somebody might come back around. And there might be some level of communication and they're sharing something either you didn't know or maybe you did know. Maybe your intuition already knew. But some level of communication that they're saying and stuff that you either didn't know or maybe you didn't know in the 3D realm, but your intuition knew. And it either ends the cycle or just brings them back. And ending the cycle could mean they either you're able to be done with them for good or done with the energy for good, or just that particular cycle between the two of you is done. Let's look at the world and see. It's almost also too like you're able to see things from a higher perspective. Like if you look at all these dragons and they're looking at almost this whole world on the snail, like you're just able to see things differently. Tell me about the world. So healing. Yeah. There's some perception shift because you have it in your likely future. You have the 10 of Cups too, and then you have the 10 of Cups here about the world. Let's pull one for each and see what comes out. Tell me about the Knave of Swords. Wheel of Fortune. Tell me about the High Priestess. 10 of Pentacles. Tell me about the world. Wow. Empress. There's some change in your thought pattern. And yes, some of you it's just going to be that you have a change in your thought pattern. Things turn for you. And now you see like this lesson of where your abundance is and where you want to go and build with the 10 of Pentacles and the Empress. Some of you, somebody may try to come back in and try to change things with you, or maybe because they see you working to be in an abundant energy, whether it's they want to ride out with you or whether it's to sabotage you. It probably will be different for everybody. So if you're wondering about this or if this applies to you, please hit me up for a personal reading because this is general. So it's going to be different for everybody. Mostly this, I take this as a personal energy of just where you will be and seeing the difference. You know, because you have the wheel down here where you see yourself too. And I think you push through, hopefully with this advice that I'm saying as well. Like go to meetups. Like if you're into spirituality, like go to spiritual, meetups of Reiki or shamanism or journeying or energy work or sound healing or even painting, crafting or wood art. I don't know, whatever. But mostly this is you guys, and you change your level of thinking and you now see where you want to go and build abundantly and you see your worth. Some of you, this person may be coming back in and now changing like what they're saying and talking to you. And honestly, that can go different ways. Like some people, you're going to put an end to it because you realize your worth. Some, maybe they now see your worth and they really are there. What is this person's intention? So there's the Moon and the Three of Pentacles. Why the Moon? Page of Swords, which is what's right here. And the Two of Wands. So just bear with me as I dig into this. I think some of you, so please hit me up for a reading to know if this applies to you. Please do not just take this as you, okay? Because I would say, honestly, most of the people who do that come to me for readings, like, honestly, probably only like 30 to 50% actually apply to them that are on the general readings. As far as like the abundant type stuff, like a person, not the other stuff. But this person might have actually think that they had a realization and that they want to take action and move forward with you. Their energy in a lot of ways is mirroring yours. And that doesn't mean like life partner or anything like that. It could or couldn't. I mean, we can mirror with a lot of people. Walk away from. Then they have the Chariot and the Eight of Cups. This might also be you, because a lot of these are matching you besides this King of Wands that came up. It might actually be you with the King of Wands and Aries. Because you had the Page of Swords, you had the Two of Wands, you had the Chariot, and you had the Eight of Cups. They may be just coming back to try to reconcile because it's bringing them like confusion, or they're all up in their feelings about it or whatever. Who's the Moon? Death. I mean, it could be a Scorpio. You have a lot of progression cards here. Like you have the Hangman, which is 12, Death, which is 13, Temperance, 14. And one card that did really want to come out when I was shuffling too, like it came out, was Justice, which really I think was coming out in a couple readings back too, about wanting balance or justice or revenge. It's funny that, and this is where I'm trying to figure out whether it's you or not, because it's funny that the one in your environment sees you as, oh no, they're confused. They had the Seven of Cups. They see you as Ace of Pentacles. So okay, so that does make sense. So they are the Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups, which a lot of times is confusion and having options. So this does match their energy, but I don't know if these other cards are them. I think these are you. I think they are the Moon and the Three of Pentacles, because you had a realization, you took action, you aligned yourself and moving forward and going towards that which serves you, and you were taking back your power. I will say in a past reading though, this King of Wands was coming up as the other person I was reading. And there's Death to the Moon. Like maybe they're confused because either you ended it or you're just being different. Why are they confused? You might have triggered them in some way, whether it's you doing what you're doing now, you doing something you did at some time. They have the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. Why the Five of Pentacles and the Three of Swords? Knight of Cups, Six of Swords, kind of sideways. Lovers. Six of Cups. King of Cups. A lot of Scorpio energy here. So this is that back and forth energy I picked up on a long time ago. It's not as intense as it used to be, though. Maybe that's because you're not playing as much. Because I was kind of getting that with the five of Pentacles and the Three of Swords and then the Knight of Cups. I almost heard like disempowerment. Like now that you took your power back, is almost like disempowering them, even though like they really didn't have a problem with disempowering you. I'm just not totally sure whether they've really learned their lesson enough, especially considering saying in your environment it's a Knight of Wands and the Seven of Cups. But you know, they kept you at a distance. And now that you're kind of pulling back and doing other things, they're in some way trying to pull you back. I don't get a full-on like sabotage vibe. Some it may be where they really are trying to mess with you. They could be. Like I said, you have to hit me up for a personal reading to see. But I think it's more like there's a lack energy going on. And as they see you gaining strength and pulling away, not only is that intriguing and enticing and attractive to them, but there is probably a part of them that does want to keep you down in a sense of, because it then stops them from having to take responsibility to rise up. But it's like they don't want you to get too far away for maybe whenever they do want to, or if they want access to you, or whenever they are ready, or they just see you starting to take back your power and rise up. So whether they want to stop you from doing it or they think you can help them with that, because I really see them fluctuating. Like they have Knight of Wands and King of Wands, and then Knight of Cups and King of Cups. So whether they're always coming up as the Knight and you're the King, or they may fluctuate. They may, so in the same way that you're having trouble and you're bouncing back and forth, they might also. This is not going to be for everybody, so apply it as necessary. Hit me up for personal reading if you didn't know this is you. But they're also fluctuating mentally. There's a lot of matching cards here, like how they have the Six of Swords sideways, how you see yourself as the Six of Swords. A lot of Scorpio energy, by the way. I mean, you have Death, Six of Cups, Seven of Cups, King of Cups. There's probably more, but and so they're fluctuating between the two and having a hard time which one to go with as well. Just like you are. I think you're doing a little better, if you want to say better. So, I don't know. I'm not going to go much more into this. I'm just saying some of you, this might happen. And please don't stop doing whatever you are doing. Keep doing it. Also have your boundaries. And if this person is not where you need them to be, or let's say that they are where you need them to be, you still may not be ready. You know what I mean? That's also about Empress energy, is knowing when you're ready and when somebody else's energy will be good for you or benefit you. And even if they're like in a good place and they're doing whatever, if you're not, and you know it will distract you because you're still working through your thought processes or self-love, then you need to know to just have enough discipline and strength to leave that alone, you know, for right now. So apply it to your life as necessary. Like I said, hit me up if you need help with this. I think I'm going to go ahead and end this here. I think this is mostly what you guys need to hear. Usually at this point, whenever I pull something, it just reiterates what I just said anyways. So I love you guys. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, the all one, but please subscribe. Please like and comment on the video. It takes 2 seconds and it gives love back to me and spreads the message for people who need to hear it. If you're interested in donations for the reciprocity of energy, or if this has helped you out, information's in the description box below. Service information, description box below. PayPal information, email address, all of that. If you're interested in shamanic services, email me. I'm hoping within the next week or two, probably 2 weeks, to start putting that out as well. But if you're interested, illumination, soul retrieval, power animal retrieval, destiny retrieval, any of that, any help that you need, email me and I'll let you know. Okay? I love you guys. Keep your head up. Keep it on positive things and looking forward even while you're waiting. And I love you guys, and I'll be seeing and talking to you soon. Bye.